When you drink alcohol, it can pass into all the cells and tissues of your body. And as you beautifully put out on social media, drinking is one of the few activities that if you don't partake, people assume or accuse you of having a problem.
Alcohol is the only drug that impacts every single organ in your body.
To this day, I've never had a drink, and I have no longing for it. I have no interest in it. This was an idea that I had, where if we can teach young people not to take drugs, just not to take them. When I see friends of mine that are having difficulty with not having that drink at dinner, where it's literally almost impossible for them to stop, I say to myself, I can't even understand it. Why would that be difficult? The fact is, if we can teach young people and people generally not to start, it's really, really easy not to take them.
There is no positive physiological benefit whatsoever that comes from drinking.
Every year, new study comes out there. There's no healthy level of alcohol consumption.
You do stupid things when you're drunk. You hurt yourself. You compromise your health. It's really hard on the people around you. You tend to turn into a liar, and it screws up your life.
I used to put away probably 2/5 a day and have mini bottles everywhere, and on pills, and on coke, and on sleeping pills. And I had a suicide attempt. Parked the car in the garage, left the engine running, reclined the seat back, and was like, let's check out. And it didn't work, believe it or not. Obviously, I'm sitting here.
You have never drunk?
I don't do nothing.
And that was a athletic decision, or you just?
It's just that, I just seen just so many different substances break everybody down, break so many blacks down. Entertainers, athletes, so.
But a lot of people, most people don't want it that badly, which is why they always ask the question, man, how did you get to where you are? You know how to do it. You know exactly how to be you or how to be me. You don't want to do it. So I can't make you do it.
My wife was 10 days away from giving birth to our 4th child. And I was sitting at my desk, smoking a cigarette at home, feeling bad. And I just had this dead certainty that if I kept on this path, I would lose my wife and children. And I just had this feeling, and I was like, wow, I think I'm an alcoholic.
It was more just that I lost everything. I was practically homeless, unable to hold down a waiting tables job. My friends all started to abandon me because I was a very angry and horrible human being to be around. You just become an awful human being. You're selfish. I did wake up the next morning, and I had a friend who'd been sober for a million years, and I called him and I was like, hey man, my life's in trouble. And he was like, why don't you get sober? And I was like, no, man. It's like I just need a new girlfriend. No, I need a girlfriend. He was like, why don't you get sober? And I was like, no, man. I just need a new job. If I get a job. And he's like, why don't you get sober? And I was like, no, man, it's the jelly donuts. I gotta stop eating the jelly donuts, and then I'll be fine. He was like, why don't you get sober? And I was like, maybe I'll get sober. Your life just changed, and people are nice to you finally when no one's been nice to you. You've lived in a world like the drinking world and the kind of druggy world that I was in, just everybody's miserable and they're all mean to each other.
I was a drinker, and at the end, my addiction had progressed so much that it was potentially deadly on a daily basis. The thing that was the most concerning and the most real about, facing death was in actuality the alcohol. Once you fall into that lifestyle, and I wouldn't call it a lifestyle because there's no life to it at all. You enter a completely different world in which you're living kind of completely outside of the bounds of any communal norms. It's a scary place to be.
From my experience, I found out God tests you. He tests you and see how much of this you can take before you say, let's just be finished with this. It wants to show you something. It wants to see how much you can take, how much you can handle of life. You say you love life, you want to live life. I'm going to show you life. Life is beautiful, but you have to accept the good and the bad as being beautiful. You can't accept the good. Oh, this is beautiful. Then we lose somebody. Oh, life sucks. Life is beautiful because life gave us the ability to just know them on our journey in life. We met them. We loved them. They cared about us. That's the purpose of life, just to enjoy what we had, what we journeyed through it. Because sometimes we don't understand, what is this thing? What is my purpose? Why am I here? Why do I have to go through this pain? Why do I have to go through this fear all the time? Why can't it just be peaceful all the time? Then it wouldn't be life. It wouldn't be life.
But you definitely had some wild years.
Oh, in terms of like alcohol and drugs, yeah. But that had nothing to do with fame, though. But I was lucky, you know. I got sober at 29 years old, and you know, I've been sober for 19 years. Been very lucky.
Good for you.
Know.
At a young age, I realized that I had a very weak mind.
Yeah.
A very weak mind, and I want nothing to interfere with my own thought process.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people, before they go on stage, they get a little bit tipsy, get a little buzz.
Yeah.
Maybe smoke a little something, do a little something.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that every single thing I feel is real. I want nothing to mask my ability to feel fear, to overcome fear, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that people who drink and do these different things are trying to hide. Some people just do it. For me, I think of it as almost like a masking agent, so then your mind doesn't have to work as hard. And that means I'm losing.
Partying is weakness for the soul, my friend, so I try and avoid it.
Alcohol causes more death and violence than every single other drug combined times 5. Alcohol is the only drug that impacts every single organ in your body. So from your brain to your liver to your kidney to your spleen, it enters your bloodstream, and it's the only drug that you can die from withdrawing from.
And what's better isn't being straight and not making mistakes. It's like that's all prohibition in some sense. What's better is, no, you need an adventure, man. You need to get out there and have something to do and something worth waking up for. And that's the substitute for the addiction.
No drinking for like 2+ months now. I'm never going back. I feel stupid for waiting this long. Because like I would have these days like go to the club, we'd do some shows, have a couple of cocktails with the boys, have a bunch of laughs, do a podcast, have some whiskey, have some laughs, and then the next day like, ugh.
Yeah.
I think this is maybe the beginning of us seeing the end of like hardcore drink culture. If you've looked at how few of Gen Z now drink,
yes,
I think maybe 20%.
One of them is that the youth views drinking as like what their parents did, right? So that's like, that's
naturally uncool.
Yeah. This group of people that are the youth right now are so much more informed on what the negative aspects of drinking and what it can do to you, that they're just like, why would I
Subject
consume
myself.
this? Yeah, to something like that. And that they've found this whole other, when you want to take the edge off, there's a lot more options. And it's also a lot more accepted today than it was 20 years ago. And yeah, but it's undeniable that it's definitely way down.
What's the central part of your training? Is it running? Is it sparring? Or
Central part is dodging the nightclubs and the parties and the girls. You want the truth? And being in the bed by yourself at 9 o'clock at night. If you can get by that, you'll make it.
That's why this is such a difficult problem to solve. The people that I know that have been able to get sober and stay sober are the people that shoulder responsibility for their own sobriety. You can't get sober for somebody else. I'm getting sober for my spouse or my kids, or, I'm getting sober because if I don't, my boss is going to fire me. You might be able to do that for a short period of time, but for the true addict, unless you're doing it for yourself and you're making it your number one priority, chances are you're not going to last over the long haul. And when you love that person, it puts you in a very treacherous position, because if you do create that boundary and that person goes off and something terrible happens, will you feel responsible, or will you feel like you didn't do enough, or if you had just done this or that, that wouldn't have happened? And that's a very real predicament to put yourself in.
Stop drinking.
Very difficult?
No, beautiful, unbelievable.
Better.
Oh, are you kidding? I would never be sitting here with you. No way, no chance. Because I wouldn't have been able to have access to myself or other people, or even been able to take in other people if I hadn't changed my life. No way. And I never would have been able to have relationships that I do. I never would have been able to take care of my father the way I did when he was sick. So many things.
We're not proud of ourselves for the small accomplishments. What we need is this monstrosity of a thing to happen and say, I did it. Nah, there's a process that you have to go through, and patience is the process. And if we don't have patience, after a week, I haven't lost 30 pounds, man, I'm done. I'm over it. So that's what I found out with people, man. They're not patient enough to realize and to enjoy the moment, not live in it, just enjoy it. There's no finish line in life.
Like there were times I was like, man, I could never be a sober person because I'm afraid of, I can't communicate with women, or I'm afraid to, stand around in a circle with tough guys without having like a beer in my hand, or like all these little crutches, I can't. And then I remember when I got like 90 days sober, I was just like, holy shit, man, like It was like the first time I'd ever done something like for myself, you know?
Yeah.
And it just, man, it felt unprecedented.
And I just think of the financial implications of drinking. It's ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous.
Yes, it is.
Because when I was on the SEAL teams, you know, we spent a lot of money on alcohol. If I would have saved that money, invested that money, bought something, you know, house, whatever, like it would have been just a totally different scenario. How much time did I spend drinking and did we spend drinking when we could have been getting better at guitar? Could have been, you know, learning how to do a skill that would be more valuable. What sucks is, you know, you're in the SEAL teams, there's only these certain skills that you care about.
That's it. And I think that applies
shooting,
to everybody.
You just care about diving. You're like, just these things that you care about and you can do okay with them.
Yeah.
And you're pretty good at them. And actually in your platoon, you're like, dude, you know, we're all the best and I'm pretty good even with the best. So I'm good.
Yeah. That's exactly the same. Obviously not with shooting and diving, but with the stuff that I cared about, it was drinking basically was like second to all that stuff. So I could fit it in. You know, if you can get 5 workouts a day or a week, get to work on time, do a good job at work, not get arrested and stuff like that, you're kind of good to go.
Alcohol is a very promiscuous drug. It gets into the brain and it changes all the good neurotransmitters that you want to change. You know, a bit of endorphins, a bit of serotonin, gradually it sort of worms its way into you. So eventually it kind of takes over and you get to the situation like they just find themselves drink. They don't even intend to drink. They're just suddenly there drinking. They don't know how they got there. They don't want to do it. They don't even enjoy it very much, but they can't stop. It becomes a compulsion.
If you don't drink, you don't miss it. I mean, I don't even think about alcohol or
right. It's not a part of your world.
I don't think about cigarettes. I don't think about any of that. If you don't take drugs or if you don't have alcohol, it's real easy not to drink it.
If you and I were to sit here and you were to start punching me at random, sucker punching me, like, would I stand here and let you beat the piss out of me? Like, I would hope not, right? But in life, we let life beat the piss out of us. And we make our circumstances even worse by when a negative event happens, we get depressed, or we feel pity for ourselves, or we turn to quick fixes like drugs, alcohol, and it makes our situation worse. So when you unpack the layer and you give that tough love of saying, you know what, like, you need to fucking change. Like, you need to look at yourself in the mirror and stop being a victim, stop blaming other people, and take ownership for yourself and stop waiting for other people to fix your life.
You have to learn, what do you want in your life? We have so much influence coming at us that we are so lost. We don't know what we want to do because we don't spend enough time with ourselves. You have to learn to shut off a phone, shut off a computer, shut off a TV. And it's okay to sit in a room by yourself in a chair and just think about you, where I want to be, where do I see myself tomorrow, the next year from that. And it takes a lot of self-discipline to be able to do that nowadays, because you want to be so attached to everything. You want to be so caught up with the world. The world's moving too fast. The world's moving so fast that you're trying to keep up to the point where you lose yourself.
A number of my friends ended up alcoholic. Well, all the people that I was in high school with and in college with were extremely hard drinkers. And I drank quite a lot till I was 27. And I thought at one point, maybe I don't want to live a life where I'm continually or even sporadically wishing that I hadn't said or done something. If I go out and watch people drinking, it makes everybody stupid and fuzzy-minded. And you know, the problem is when you're drinking, you think you're cool, but, you know, you have those same delusions that Homer Simpson's friend Barney had when he was drinking, that you're this kind of, you know, elegant and sophisticated comedian, and it just makes everybody stupid.
I didn't one day wake up and say, I'm giving up drinking. I just, like many Brits, had a very, very boozy December, and all I could think about was having a drink. All I could think about. I was waking up thinking about it, I was checking the clock, when's it 12, and it just really scared me. I just was like, wow, maybe I have a little bit of an alcohol thing. So I sort of decided to punish myself and say, I'll do February as well. I'll do 2 months off. If I can do 2 months off, then I can prove to myself that I don't have a problem. 2 months go by and I was still really struggling. I felt like I couldn't be social, and I started to really worry that maybe I had an alcohol problem. I said to myself, if I can do 6 months without alcohol, then I can prove to myself that I don't have a problem. And by the time I had got to June 1st, I was the happiest I've ever been in my life.
People are dying every year in the United States of America from overdoses, and that's probably a small number in comparison to what actually is happening. But hundreds of thousands of people are dying because of alcohol and drug abuse. It's a real epidemic. I feel like if I don't share about the success of coming through that, I'm not doing what I know I have to do, which is be of service.
It was 1 shot, 2 shot. What does 4 feel like? What does 8 feel like? And all of a sudden I'm taking 12 shots of vodka, on a school night by myself, hopping on the bus and, running from the police. And it was a crazy first time drinking alcohol that never stopped for me. Every time pretty much that I drank turned into a crazy event like that. But I don't know exactly at the time what I wanted to escape from. I think that there was just that changing reality. There was that, I like to be able to skew what's in front of me and to silence the mind. By the time that I hit around 20 years old, it was like, this is possible. 22, it was like, this is even more possible. 23, but the problem was that I kept having, it was always like, I could make this a reality if I can just get sober. And I couldn't get sober. So it was this like, I need to get sober, I need to get clean so I can make music that's meaningful, that's impactful. Because once I got high, it was like the veil was over my eyes. I had no connection anymore to the music. It was kind of always that balance, but I felt in my heart, if I can get clean, I can make enough music that will resonate with people that might be able to pay some of these bills.
The reason why we go back to old habits is because our goals are too lofty. We're not achieving our goals fast enough. So what happens is, we're very impatient nowadays. For me, it was good. I didn't have a phone. I was out of this world by myself. It was a race against David Goggins. It wasn't a race against, God, I want to look good for this person or that person. It was me. I got to change myself.
It's the most personal thing to people. And I know it's one of the most personal things to people because try talking to someone else about drinking. Try talking to someone else about how you haven't had a drink for 2 years and watch what happens to them. Well, I don't drink that much anyway. If I were to tell other people how they could do it is so particular to your own spirit and your own psychology that it's almost impossible to develop one way of explaining it to someone else. You have to fight really hard to look at it from a critical point of view because it's constantly pushed on you. And if you look at drinking the way you would look at anything else, which is risk, reward, what am I giving up? What am I getting? Some of the worst odds that ever existed. And I just looked at it like, hey, what happens if I keep going? And it wasn't like dark, it wasn't sinister. I went, I always stop here. What if I keep going? It was really kind of like a oddly like playful kind of a thing.
I don't miss it generally like now at all. Like I really, and I know, and that varies for some people really still do, and some people like don't. And when I think of like the sort of chaos I used to invite into my life, I'm like, I'm really much happier now. And I think there was some part of me that was like, actors have to be like crazy cool drunks. Like I have to live up to this weird image that I have in my head of what it is to be like a famous actor or something. And then at a certain point it becomes, who are you actually? Like if you're dropping all pretenses, like what makes you happy? Even at the lowest point, I still loved my job so much and I loved going to set, and there was never a day where it affected how I was on set. And I would just like, there was never a point where I was like, oh, I wish this hadn't happened to me. I wish I wasn't Harry Potter. Like that just didn't happen.
I need to be kept right-sized because I can easily fall into self-seeking and depression and self-pity and judgment and all that stuff. It's kind of it's a bit of a default, but I spend enough energy and I've had enough help over enough years to actually just say, oh, that's just awful, destructive behavior. You're entertaining in your head, you know?
It went slowly from being a work hard, play hard, have a drink, to 2 drinks, to 3 drinks, to then a habit, to then a daily habit, to then a 24/7 habit, to then a every weekend habit, getting lost in myself habit. Sometimes if you don't watch the kind of habits that you're building, they become lifestyles. And not every lifestyle leads to roads of riches and benefits and incentives and a great life. Some roads lead to death, they lead to struggle, anxiety, depression, and all of the opposite things that somebody wants for their life. And I was there. Before I knew it, I was digging myself a hole, and everywhere I looked, it was so dark, and I lost myself. I spiraled into a sense of no self-worth. A lot of times that I was in that place, I thought that I was doing the right things. I didn't know who I was hurting. I didn't know who I was letting down, and I hit rock bottom, to the point where I almost lost my job, to the point where some people had to have very tough conversations with me. I was incapable of leading correctly. I was incapable of being honest with people. You have to want to change if you're struggling with some kind of addiction, like I was. It's not easy to say that, but I wanted to change. I just didn't know how. From there, he said, you know, Mario, perspective and gratitude. Don't forget where you've come from and everything you have in front of you. And gratitude, make a list of everything that you're grateful for in your life. And this revolution happened. Now from there, I had to make some pretty tough decisions on what my habits were gonna be next. You know, so many articles out there and people out there that have chosen a sober lifestyle, have chosen to not have a drink here and there, have chosen to change things up during the week. And I had to read about all that stuff and I had to follow some of those same habits, and I got to go to, you know, certain meetings that I didn't want to go to, but I had to face the music. Then I had to find a way to fill myself up with other things that could replace the habits that I had. And 24 hours turned into 1 day, turned into 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. And soon enough,
I tried to quit drinking a lot of times. I knew that my drinking was causing problems in my life across the board. I mean, like, you know, I had less money, it was eating into my bank account, it was messing with some of my relationships. I would never feel good. The 3 days after I would go out on a bender, right, I would just be like a mess. I know this is screwing me up. I know it. And then I tell myself, you know what? Maybe it'll be different this time. Like, I'm just gonna have 1 or 2 drinks this time. And then you have 1 or 2 and you go, well, if 1 or 2 is this good, what would like 10 more be like? Right? And something shifts in your head. So it's choosing that short-term relief at the expense of long-term growth. I think that getting out of that is ultimately hard. And ultimately, I also see addiction as kind of a symptom of some underlying thing. So for me, I think the reason that I drank is because I had an office job that I found a little bit boring. It was rather sanitary, rule-based. And as I mentioned before, I'm a person who, I do well on extreme experiences, right? And when I would drink, alcohol would allow me to be sort of wild and free in this world that's become increasingly sanitary, increasingly rule-based, whatever. And I can find that now by applying it to a job that allows me to go into extreme and interesting places, right? And so I think that, you know, the message for the average person is that once you figure out why you have an issue in the first place, and if you can figure out, okay, well, how do I apply it to something that enhances my life? That can be a good life hack.
You know, alcohol doesn't bring out the best in people's characters. Alcohol almost universally makes people less than they are. It's fun because it eradicates your concern for future consequences. It actually kind of does that physiologically, you might say, because alcohol is a potent anxiety-reducing drug.
I'm embarrassed how many times I quit and couldn't do it.
Quit drinking or
quit drinking and drugs. Yeah, I'm proud of myself that I didn't quit quitting.
Yeah,
because it's demoralizing. Like, to truly be powerless over something is fucking demoralizing. It's so rough.
It had a lot to do with the extent to which I was in the grips of addiction and alcoholism. And I think a component of that is that I somehow felt defective. You know, there was just a discomfort in my own skin, which is a common trait of alcoholism. So I just felt like there was something wrong with me. Things weren't going to work out.
So you're on these films, box office and all of that, and in the back of your mind you're thinking, I don't deserve this success, or it's gonna have like the anvil is waiting to drop on me, literally?
There's some of that.
Really? Was that linked to your childhood? Because I know that there was a history of alcohol abuse with your father.
Right. Not my father, my mother was, my mom's side of the family was so alcoholic, every leaf on the tree. I mean, and like I'm the first member of my mom's side of the family to achieve long-term sobriety.
And you've been sober now, was it
14 years
14.
Yeah, is that crazy?
Got sober when I was 17, and 3 years after that I was on a television show, and that felt great. And it was like this new thing and a new source of, to fill me up. Like when I was young, it was like I was just shy. I just didn't know how to get along in the world. I didn't know how to talk to people, and alcohol was like the best solution for that. The problem is for me, normally you have a window. It's like it's fun, they say, and then fun with problems and then just problems. Like my window from fun to just problems was so short. And I was a ward of the court and all this stuff. But once I couldn't use alcohol to sort of fill that hole, it was like, oh, success, attention, this is great.
I don't want to, at this point, to be running from anything. I want to sit in it, I want to feel it, I want to get through the rough night. And I found In doing so, you come out the other side with a more profound understanding of yourself, a greater gratefulness for those in your life, birds and the trees and everything else.
I wish he had been sober during those formative years, but what he's taught me is how important it is for me to be sober now during these formative years for my kids.
What was the hardest thing for you to be honest with yourself about?
That I was going to get divorced. I never thought I was going to get divorced. I didn't want to get divorced. I didn't want to be a divorced person. I really didn't want to be a split family with my children, and it upset me because it meant I wasn't who I thought I was, and that was so painful.
And he says, a wake-up call about the dad he is determined to be.
I took the last half of the year off, and I just got to be dad. Drive him to school, pick him up, go to the swim meet. Just that's where the parenting happens. It's in the cracks. It's in the moments where you're just taking them back from soccer, and they say something profound, or they talk about how they're really feeling about something, and it's like that's where you get to be the parent. That's the joy of it, and that's what I don't want to miss.
45 years ago today, I had a wake-up call. I was heading for disaster, drinking myself to death. I'm not preachy, but I got a message, a little thought that said, do you want to live or die? And I said, I want to live. And suddenly the relief came, and my life has been amazing. And I have my off days and sometimes little bits of doubt and all that. But all in all, I say, hang in there. Today is the tomorrow you were so worried about yesterday. You young people, don't give up. Just keep in there. Just keep fighting. Be bold, and mighty forces will come to your aid. And that sustained me through my life.
The reason I stopped drinking was on that particular day, I had 2 cocktails. As I was having the second cocktail with dinner, I realized I'm only having this to take the edge off because I'm naturally an introvert. I don't necessarily like the whole meet and greet part of speaking events and stuff. And I realized that it does help take the edge off. It does help calm me down, but I pay for it the next day. I'm 49 now. This was last year, so I was 48 years old. And here in my mid to late 40s, even 1 or 2 cocktails, and some of you that are in your 40s and beyond can back me up on this. Man, 1 or 2 cocktails I could feel the next day. I'm a little heavy-headed. I'm a little slower. I'm definitely dehydrated. My workouts that morning suck. And I realized, why am I doing something that's putting me in a state that is undesirable and incongruent with the man that I want to be?
And I think that is very difficult for people who are not addicts or alcoholics or don't really understand the true nature and power of addiction to wrap around their brains, right? Like, just stop. You're going to kill yourself. You've got to cut this out.
It was a violent struggle daily to get where I'm at today. I'm not going to water it down. Shit wasn't fun. It ain't fun today, but I'm happy.
Like, when you drink heavily, you just expect to feel like it. So when you feel like, you're like, oh yeah, well, of course I drank a lot. But when you drink very moderately, it actually showed me how much it affects you. Like, I would go out and have 2 glasses of wine with dinner, and not only would I feel 20% worse the next day, I would feel 10% worse the day after that. And that was shocking to me. I was like, whoa, this is actually, it's not about hangovers. It's about just general lack of energy and motivation on a day-to-day basis, and it lasts for multiple days. I hang out with them and they're like, oh, I quit drinking, by the way. And I'm like, what? Me too. Holy, like, that's probably happened 3 or 4 times.
I pretty much barely drink anymore. I used to drink numerous times per week, particularly when I was growing up, university, then even throughout my 20s. I was very much into my fitness, but at the same time, there was always at least one extremely heavy blowout at the weekend. And then I think when I was 29, I did the first experiment where I went sober for 6 months. And that taught me a lot because I was put in situations where I would normally drink. And because I was doing this challenge, I wasn't allowed to drink. And I actually realized it wasn't that hard to do, and actually quite liked it.
I haven't drank in 7 years, but I don't, even then, it's not like I guess I'm an alcoholic. I don't know when to stop, but every once in a while, it's like, man, we had a good gig. I remember the last night I drank, it's like, yes, man, like, let's go to the bar, like, drinks on me. I woke up the next morning and I had the worst hangover ever. It was like embarrassing, and it was all because I was so drunk the night before, and I was like, I'm never doing this again, and I haven't drank since.
I was out drinking. I didn't care, give up. And it come to a point I was doing that for 18 months of my life. And I thought to myself, this is not me. And no matter how many people told me before this, where I was going wrong, what I was doing, you need to act to your life. You can only change your life if you want to change it.
To find real peace, you have to let the armor go. Your need for acceptance can make you invisible in this world. Don't let anything stand in the way of the light that shines through this form. Risk being seen in all of your glory. Our eyes are not viewers, they're also projectors that are running a second story over the picture that we see in front of us all the time. Fear is writing that script, and the working title is, I'll Never Be Enough.